So student, we will start now. I hope I'm audible as well as my screen is also visible. Somebody please confirm. Yes, first shift students, please confirm. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and second shift students, please confirm. Is my screen visible? Okay. So we will start now. The very first topic which we are going to cover is the bisection method. Okay. So let me just quickly show you how this bisection method is going to work. Okay. So let us say we have a equation, and that equation is uh, represented by a simple curve, something like this. Okay, so if you see this, this is y is a function of x. So this means what? That whenever the value of x is changing, the value of y will also change. So for example, if your x equals to 1, let us say your x value is 1 over here. So accordingly, the value of y, so this will be the value of y, this will be y1, and this will be your x1. So y value is in the negative side. Okay. So if your x value is, let us say, 2, so your 2 value is somewhere over here. So let us say this will be x2. So y2 will be somewhere over here. Let us say your x value is, let us say, 3. So here you see that your x3 will come over here and y3 will be now positive. Okay, so in the bisection method, what exactly we are doing is we are finding the root of this equation, and the root of the equation means what? Whenever it is basically a value of x where the corresponding value of y is 0. So here that point is somewhere over here. Okay, so I want to know what is the value of x such that the corresponding y value is 0. Okay, so this is a basic thing which we have to do. Now how to do this? So for this purpose we are using a simple method of bisection. Now in the bisection method, what exactly we are doing is something like this. Okay, so let us say we have a axis something like this, and we have a curve which is like this, right? So now what exactly we are doing is we are going for 2 points on the line. So this is, let us say, point number 1, and this is, let us say, point number 2. So now if you observe carefully, both the points, they are on the either side of the x-axis. Okay, so here this is nothing but your x-axis, and here it is nothing but your y-axis. Okay, so one point is on the negative side of y, and one side is on the positive side of the y. So now let us say this P1 has got coordinate x1 and y1, and P2 has got coordinate x2 and y2. So what exactly bisection means? We are bisecting these 2 points. So if you bisect these 2 points and if you go for only x, so here this value is nothing but your x1, and this value is nothing but your x2. So if you calculate x mean, that is x average, so this will be x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So if you see graphically, your xm will reach somewhere over here, which is exactly the mean of x1 and x2. So this will be your xm. And if you try to find out corresponding y coordinate, so corresponding y coordinate will come somewhere over here, which is positive. Okay, here this is also positive, but here if you see the y coordinate, this is negative. So it is assumed that whenever you bisect, the xm value, whatever value is there, corresponding y value is a possible solution. Okay, but now if you see here, the value of y is actually positive, it is not 0. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to go for bisection one more time. So now if you bisect between now xm and x1. Okay, so if you bisect between this one, so your midpoint will come somewhere over here, isn't it? And here you see the value of y is basically negative. Okay, so we have to keep on repeating this process unless and until the value of y becomes 0, okay, or which is very close to 0. So this particular process involves lot of iterations, and it totally depends on what values of x you are assuming, okay. So now, just for sake of understanding, let us take a simple example, okay. So now, in this I'm going to take a simple example. Let us say, so here, example, okay. So now here, what I'm going to do is say y is, let us say, x square minus 2x plus 4, okay. So this is my one expression, for example, right. So now we need to find out the root of this equation, and you already know the solution of this equation that can be calculated. X, it is something like minus b, okay, plus minus under root of b square minus 4 times ac divided by twice a, isn't it? So you can calculate the root, but we won't be using this particular expression. We will be going with the bisection method, okay. Now in the bisection method, if you remember, what we have to do is, first of all, we have to choose 2 points, okay, 2 points, such that the one point is on the positive side, like shown in this particular figure, and the another point should be on the negative side, okay. So we have to first of all go for trial and error, and then only we can know what are the possible routes, okay. So let us try to find out the values, okay. So for this purpose, what I'll do, let me choose, let us say, x equals to, let us say, 0. So if you choose x equals to 0, your y value, because this x will be 0, this 2x will be 0, and only 4 will come into picture. This will be plus 4, okay. And if you choose, let us say, x equals to 1, in that case, the value of y, this will be 1 square, okay. 1 square will be 1, minus say 2x, okay. So this will be minus 1, okay, minus 1 plus 4. तो ये कितना आएगा बेटा? Someone please tell me. कितना आना चाहिए? Sorry, positive 3, okay. And if you choose x equals to 2, what will be that? कितना आएगा? Y will be positive 4. And how about x equals to 3? Y कितना आएगा? Plus negative. Is it positive or negative? Positive 1 3, okay. So now if you try to plot a curve, so if you plot a curve, what is happening over here is, when your x is 1, x is 2, x is 3, and x is 4. So this is basically 4, this is say 3, this is once again, this is 4, and this is say 13. So your curve is something like this, okay. It is going down and it is going up, okay. So I'm not sure whether this your curve is intersecting in the y-axis or not, okay. So let us try for one more cycles. So let us try for, let us say, x equals to minus 1. In that case, what will be the value? Anybody? बोलो. सब कुछ पॉजिटिव आएगा, आई सपोज. आई थिंक दिस इज 7, ओके. तो ये देखो कि तुम्हारा कर्व जो है, इट इज कंटिन्यूसली गोइंग ऑन द अपसाइड, एंड it is going on the upside over here. Okay, so as such we have to go for different trials unless and until you find a curve where one point is over here and one point is over here. Okay, so see, this is a pure trial and error method. Okay, so in your examination you may have to go for different trials unless and until you get 2 points you won't be able to get the correct solution. Okay, so let us try different example for which I already know the solution. Okay, so let me write example 2. Okay, now in this example we will take a equation which is of third order. Okay, so here I am taking y as a function of x. So function of x is x cube minus 1.2 times x square plus 2 times x minus 2.4. Okay, so this is the equation. Now we need to find out the root of this equation. Now if you observe carefully, this is of order 3. Okay, since it is of third order, it will be having how many roots? 3 roots. Okay, so we need to find out at least one root from this. Okay, so again we are going with some trial and error. Let us try to find out what is the value of y when x value equals to 0. Okay, so here in this equation if you substitute x value, here 0, here also 0, here also 0, so you are going to get the as minus 2.4. Okay, now let us substitute the value of x as 1. So can anybody tell me what will be the value of y? Anybody? Sorry, minus 0.6. Okay, fine. And if you go with x equals to 2, what will be the value of y? Sorry, 4 point minus, sorry, plus 4.8. Okay, so now you see we have successfully obtained the 2 points. Okay, sorry, we have obtained 2 points here. Okay, so if you plot a curve, what you are going to get is like this. Okay, so you will have a point where the value of y is negative and it is going like this. Okay, so if you plot a point, so this will be x equals to 0. Okay, and this will be x equals to 1 and this will be x equals to 2. So now you know that the root of this equation lies between 1 and 2. Okay, so now since we know this, so one point we can choose this over here. This will be my p2 point and this will be my p1 point. Okay, and if you see the p1 point coordinate, so its x value is 1, y value is minus 0.6, and your p2 value is x value is 2, whereas y value is 4.8. Okay, so now with this, now we can go for the bisection. Okay, so here I'm going to say iteration 1. Okay, so in iteration 1 I'm going to calculate xm as x1 plus x2 divided by 2, where x1 is basically 1, x2 is 2 divided by 2, so this is coming out to be 2.5. Okay, so here if you see this figure, I am dividing this entire thing into two parts, equal two parts, so I'm basically bisecting it. So corresponding y, now I have to calculate, so this will be my ym. So all you have to do is substitute the value of x in this particular expression. Okay, in this expression, so that you can get the value of ym. Okay, so can anybody tell me what will be the value of ym, please? Yes, कितना आ रहा है? Sorry, 2 point positive, negative. Okay. Please, there is one instruction. Please maintain at least 3 to 4 digits while answering your this one questions. Okay. So is it exactly 2.1 or are there some more digits after 2.1? Exact 2.1? Okay, fine. So since this is positive, sorry, my mistake. 1.5. Sorry, 1.5. Is it correct then? 1.275. Okay. This is positive or negative? Positive. Okay. So this is incorrect. Okay. So let me erase this. Okay. This is 1.275, right? Okay. And this is 1.5. Okay. So now ym is positive, I suppose. Okay, so this is positive, right? So what exactly is happening over here is you have a line which is like this, okay, and then you have a curve which is going like this, and what you have obtained, this was your first point p1, this was your second point p2, okay, and your xm is coming somewhere over here, so that its corresponding ym is now positive. Okay. So now you have now 3 points. One is the p1, one is the p2, and then let us say this point is pm. So now you know that this corresponding y value of xm is non-zero. हमको ये कब तक करना है? जब तक y की वैल्यू जीरो नहीं आती है. So in that case, now what we can do is now we have to go for bisection between this point and the p1 point. Okay. So for this purpose, we have to go for another iteration. Okay. So now in this case, your xm will be now the first value here, the value of this is 1. Okay. So 1 plus 1.5 divided by 2. I think it is now 1.25. Correct? Find the value of ym, please.
Yes, sir.
Find the value of ym, please.
Point 1781.
0.1781. Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. Okay. So here also it is coming out to be positive. Okay. So then again we have to bisect with the corresponding negative value. Okay. So for the third iteration, iteration 3, xm will be one more time 1 plus 1.25 divided by 2. So I think it is 1.125, I suppose.
Yes.
Okay. So can you please tell me what will be the value of ym then? Please tell the sign also, whether it is negative or positive.
Sir, negative 0.2449.
Minus 0.2449.
Yes.
Okay. So now you see, for the first time we are getting the y value as negative. This means your y value is somewhere over here. Okay. So now for the next iteration, you need a point which is on both the sides. So for the iteration number 4, okay, the xm value will be such that one should be negative and one should be positive. Okay, remember in the earlier case the value of y for value of x as 1 was negative, remember, and the value of y for this it was positive. Okay, so since the value of y is negative, we have to take the positive value over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bisect 1.125 here. This value will remain same divided by 2. Okay, so can someone tell me what will be the xm now?
One point one eight seven five.
Okay, and corresponding ym?
Minus 0.0426.
Okay, so you see the value of y is now very close to 0. Okay, so at this point what we can do is we can stop and we can say yes, this is the root. Okay, but if you want to know what is the correct value, you have to keep on going further and further. Okay, now the best way of doing this is you draw a table. Okay, so let me draw a table so that it will be understood easily. Okay, so I will be needing something like 4 5 6 tables over here. Okay, um, okay, so here I'll say simply x1, this is say y1, I'll say x2, this is say y2, this is x3, sorry, I'll put xm and I'll put ym over here. Okay, now if you go back, we have started with x value as 1 and the corresponding value of y, I think it was minus 0.6, right? And the x2 value was 2 and the corresponding value of y was 4.8. Okay, so you can see I'm talking about this, the one which is shown with the blue rectangle. Okay, so now this can be easily done with the help of your table. Okay, so let me show you the xm value. Okay, so when for the first time when we have gone for the bisection between 1 and 1.2, the xm value was 1.5 and the corresponding ym value was positive. Okay, so since this was positive, this is 1.275, right? Let me write down the values of y with sign, that will be better. Then for the second iteration, you see we have started with 1 and 2. This was positive, this was negative, and this was positive, and what we have got is positive value. Okay, so we need one value which is negative and one value which is positive. So I'm taking the negative value from here as it is. Okay, and then so this will be 1 and this will be minus 0.6, but for positive value I'll be taking the latest value, that is this one. So this will be 1.5 and this will be plus 1.275. Okay, so when we go for bisection between 1 and 1.5, okay, what we have obtained, we have obtained 1.25 and the corresponding y value was positive 0.1781. This is what we have obtained in the second iteration. Now if you see the second iteration, this value is negative, this value is positive, and what y value we have obtained is positive. So we need one negative and one positive. So we will continue with the same, that is minus 0.6, but the positive value I'm going to take 1.25, here positive 0.1781. Then, so see, one is negative, one is positive. So we have gone for bisection between 1 and 1.25. You can see in the third iteration. So after the third iteration, what we have obtained is 1.125, and corresponding y value is now negative. Okay, so it is negative 0.2449. So now we have now true values. One is negative, one is positive, and second one is also negative. So for the first time, what we will do, we will keep this value same, y2 value same, okay, because this is positive, and y1 value we are going to change to this one because this is negative. So for the first time, I'll put this as 1.125. The corresponding y value is negative 0.2449, whereas the other value I'm going to keep same. Okay, so now you see we have one value which is negative, one value which is positive. So we are in bisecting between 1.125 and 1.125, sorry, 1.25. Okay, so if you go with this bisection, you are going to end up with 1.1875. The corresponding y value is negative 0.0426. Okay, so you see the y value. Okay, the y value, our aim over here is we need to find out the value of x such that the corresponding value of y should be close to 0. So in the first iteration, the value of ym was 1.2. So for the time being, if you forget about this sign, you will find that it is slowly reaching towards the 0. So initially it was 1.2, then it has become 0.1, then it has increased, then again it is reduced. So slowly it is reducing, and if you go for one more cycle, definitely you are going to get the even good result. Okay, so now can anybody tell me what should I write in x1 and y1 from this? In the next cycle, what value should I take? Yes, what value of x1 should I take? Bolo. Yes, students, please respond. What value of x1 should I take?
1.1875.
Yes, exactly. 1.1875. So that its corresponding y value is negative 0.0426, whereas your this value will remain same because it is corresponding y value is positive. Okay. So now can anybody tell me what will be the xm, that is the average of 1.1875 and 1.25? Also tell me the value of this one also, that is ym also.
Sir, except is 1.2187.
Okay. How about ym?
0.06517.
0.0651.
517.
Is it negative or positive?
Positive.
Okay. So now you see we are going towards the actual solution, so that you can see the ym value is now even closer to 0, that is 0.06. Earlier it is 0.04, but it was negative. Now this is 0.06, it is in the positive direction. Okay, so now can anybody tell me what should I write in the next row? क्या लिखूं मैं?
Sir, 1.1875.
एक मिनट, 1 point. Okay, and here
1.2187.
correct. Okay, because this value is positive. Okay, whereas this value is negative. Okay, so please go for bisection one more time. 1.203. And what about this one? Negative, positive, positive. So you see 0.01. So you see this is very close to 0 now. Okay, so if you go for one more cycle, then you will be getting another root. So as far as my knowledge goes, if you continue the iterations, okay, so from here the final answer will be 1.2. Okay, and the corresponding y value is 0. Okay, but here you see to reach 1.2 you have to go for even more number of cycles. Okay, so it takes a lot of time. That's why this is the one of the basic method of bisection. The biggest drawback of this particular method is it involves many iterations, unnecessary many iterations are there. That's why this method is not at all used. We are generally using the different or some higher order methods. Okay, so let me tell you something about this method now. So for example, uh, so this completes, right? So now you try and understand. Okay, so we have chosen, let us say we have a curve which is something like this. Okay, so it is going up and then it is getting flat. Okay, now as far as this method is concerned, we have to choose 2 points, right? So we have to choose 2 points in such a way that both points should be lying on the either side of the axis. That is, one should be on the positive y-axis and other should be on the negative y-axis. Okay, for example, if you choose one point somewhere over here, let us say this is p1, and if you choose another point somewhere over here, this is, let us say, p2. Okay, then what is going to happen? So if you choose this, you are going to end up with let us say this is your this axis and this is your this axis. Okay, so in this particular case, what you have done, the second point, that is p2, you have chosen very far from the actual root, because you don't know the root, so you have to start with some random assumptions. Okay, but because of this, what is happening, that second point is very very far from the actual root. So in this case, if you choose to bisect, so your bisection will come somewhere over here. So here you are going to get one more point, then you are going to bisect in between these two, then you are going to get one point over here. Okay, then if you choose to bisect between these two, then again you are going to get this point over here. So what you have done, if you have chosen a point which is far away from the actual root, your three iterations, so this is iteration 1, this is iteration 2, and this is iteration 3. So three iterations are excess. Okay, जिसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं थी. If you have chosen a point somewhere over here, in that case these two iterations, they were not at all required. Okay, so one of the biggest drawback over here is that if you choose guess roots, okay, p1 and p2, they are nothing but your guess roots. So if you choose a guess roots which are very well far from the actual root, in that particular case your number of iterations are unnecessarily increasing. So this is one of the biggest drawback of this particular method. Okay, so please note that. Okay, otherwise in general the method requires many iterations, but the number of roots will even increase if you choose the points which are far away from the actual roots. Okay, have you understood this? Anybody's having any doubts, queries, please let me know. Yes. Yes, students, are there any queries?
Sir, in exam, कितने iteration perform करने पड़ेंगे?
Sorry, can you be please louder?
Sir, exam में हमें कितने iteration perform करने पड़ेंगे?
See, in the exam, what will be asked is like you have to find out the solution which is having the y value something like 0.001. Okay, so all we have to do is you have to focus on y value. So unless and until value, the value of y is close to 0. Let us say 001 or 01, you have to keep on doing the iterations. Is it
Okay,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us quickly take one small problem. So I'm giving you one problem, something like uh, okay, x cube minus 1.5 times x square. Okay, so we'll take one more problem. So here, so I have say y equals to x cube minus 1.5 times x square. Okay, ideally what we want the value of y should be 0. Okay, so for this purpose what we are doing, we are assuming this as 0. So this is x cube minus 1.5 times x square. Okay, so what will happen, this will go x cube over here, x cube equals to 1.5 times x square. So this gets cancelled and ultimately x value becomes 1.5. Okay, so this is a actual solution. So we know that the value of x will be in between one exactly it is 1.5. So you can choose any 2 points which is on the left hand side and on the right hand side of the 1.5. Okay, so for example, just to start with, let us take the x value as 0. Okay, so what will be the value of y? Can someone tell me? This will be definitely 0, isn't it? Because x is 0, this is 0, so this will be completely 0. Okay, and just you can see this is one of the root. Okay, because directly the value of y is now 0. हमको क्या चाहिए? We need the value of x such that the corresponding value of y should be 0. So this is one root. So your x1 will be now 0. This is the root 1. Okay, so if you go for another root, okay, let us say the value of x equals to, let us say, 1. Okay, what will be the value of y? Can anybody tell me? Minus 0.5, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is negative. Okay, and in case if you choose x value as say 3, intentionally I am choosing this as 3. Okay, so can anybody tell me what will be the value of y? Three square is 9. 9 minus, no, sorry, not 9, 27 minus 1.5 times 9. How much is that?
13.5.
13.5. Okay, so you can see this is negative and this is positive. Okay, so what we can do is, in place of drawing the figure, we can directly insert a simple table. Okay, like this. Okay, so here we can have x1, we can have y1, we can have x2, we can have y2, we can have xm, and we can have ym. Okay, so here I'm just directly putting down the values over here. So this is 1, y1 is negative 0.5, x2 is 3, and y2 is positive 13.5. Now if you go for xm, that is the bisection between 1 and 3, so it becomes 2. Okay, so can anybody tell me what will be the value of y when it is 2? X value is 2. Yes, y
2.
value, sorry,
2. Positive 2.
plus 2. Okay, someone please cross check, is it correct? ठीक है. Okay, now for the second iteration, what value of x1 should I take and what value of x2 should I take? Yes, बोलो.
1 and 2. X1 should be 1 and X2 should be 2.
Okay, So this is minus 0.5 because this is negative, this is 2, and this is positive. Okay, so the value of y, the xm value will be now 1.5, and if you calculate, this is going to become 0. बराबर है? Please check.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically this is the final root, isn't it? This is your second root. Okay, now I am giving you kind of a homework. So we have this equation, that is x to the power 3. So this is the third order. Okay, so since this is third order, there is root 1, there is root 2, and there is root 3. We have already calculated root 1 as 0, root 2 is 1.5. So please try and attempt and try to find out what will be the root 3, because this is a third order equation and there is a possibility that there is also another root. Okay, so please try this, and we will continue in the next class. Are there any queries as far as this part is concerned? Yes, students?
No, sir.
Okay. uh,